sounds like a V8, right? So just temporarily we just unplugged the fan so the fan doesn't run like wide open, and the check engine light is from the fuel sender being low. That hopefully we can address in the future, but for right now we're going to go ahead and move it backwards. First time using obviously any kind of forward movement, reverse movement, and it's going backwards under its own steam. And again, it's not tuned, we just kind of put a drop in Silverado map and kind of just tweaked it for the different size airbox because the mass airflow or MAF is different. Reverse, let's go backwards again, and then we'll just go up the road and see if the transmission goes through the gears. Alright, so it goes forwards. The second gear. There's third, it just went to third. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Engine reduced power. That might be in the transmission too. Might be something to do with the way it's shifting. Again, that's a GM thing. Whenever it has issues like that, it will go into a reduced power mode. Yeah, now it's got the service ESC, and the car has no power. I mean, it's moving, but it has no power. Everything looks normal. We really don't have any heat in this hose yet.
It's warmer than it was yesterday.
Yeah, this one's, it's not too hot to the touch. Probably take a while to warm up. Alright, so we got Esther taking a picture. Now you can't help but hitting the horn. You ready? I had to do it. I think it was only a light clunk. It might have just been because we loaded the suspension back up. We cleared some of the issues. The last thing I think we have is the fuel level, and I'm going to drive it some more, make sure it doesn't go back to reduced power. Up the idle to like 650, and the car is much smoother. It was idling at like 530, which I'm sure that's good for clipping it in gears. Ready, 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 ready. I hate it when people do that to me, but it's funny when you're the button presser. It's funny. When you're the button E, it's awful.
At least I didn't throw my phone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, if that was a friend of ours, you'd have thrown the phone. Come back to this, but so far things are looking a whole lot better than what they did yesterday. Yesterday had many sucky moments. Update on the HP tuners thing. We thought it was a glitch with it, and I've got to tell you, it wasn't. We was using my MVP Pro box, which is the one that HP tuners sent us, and they put credits on it, and we were using Jared's cable, which I informed him I think his cable is just a little bit old and wonky, because when we put my cable in, the computer connected no problem and it uploaded. So we made the fan changes. What we had before was when we turned the car on, the fan came on just full throttle and the car would never warm up. I keep calling it a car, but the engine would never warm up. Well, right now when it starts normal and the fan isn't coming on, which is what it's supposed to do. And then put the window down so we don't get locked out accidentally. Well, now the fan kind of comes on slow, which is what it's supposed to do, and then slowly ramps up. So we've got the hood back on now. So, can't really see, the fan is spinning very, very slowly, and it's the way it's designed to do. It kind of comes on slowly, and then as it needs it, it kind of ramps up the speed and holds it, and then it brings it back down. But it's not running wide open, so I think we've got the fan controls right now. Running it the other day, all day, it would sit at 198, 200, it never went over that. So I think the fan we have figured out. We're waiting to hear back from Jared on the fuel. So the hood closed. You can hear it now, sounds completely normal. And just to let you know, this is essentially a bone stock 5.3 out of a Silverado, just the way it came. It's got the factory program in it. It's got all the emission systems, the catalytic converters. It's hooking up to the factory Colorado exhaust, so it's as close to OEM as we can get. All we did was adjust the MAF table for the different airbox, and it's not that far off. But so far, the only codes we're seeing is from the fuel sending unit. And when I drove it the other day, it did come on with the service engine, the service ESC, and reduced power. And we talked about it yesterday. We haven't done anything with the transmission. We haven't done the relearn. There's like a relearn and such. We haven't done any of that. So all this is working. Everything on the dash works properly. The fuel range, obviously, it doesn't want to pick up anything. But right here, oil pressure, all that works. Transmission temp is working. And obviously it goes through the gears properly. So, I mean, we're getting there. We're, you know, it's kind of like you put a checklist and we keep scrubbing things off the list as we go down. So essentially we've only got 2 issues we're working on. Then we're going to do a transmission relearn and kind of go through the gears and see if that takes care of that. Once we have that done, I'm going to call Nate and we're going to do the final tune. And again, I don't want to tune it to be, you know, high performance. I want it to be as close to OE as you can get. I mean, that's kind of like the theme of this. It's, again, for the people looking at doing something similar, not everybody wants to hot rod it. Well, somebody asked me on the Colorado forum, and if you're watching the series, I apologize. I totally forgot your name. I talked to so many people. But he is doing a similar build, and I wanted to kind of show you this. It'd be easier for me to show you than trying to explain it. So the brake booster, typically on a regular vehicle, the brake booster comes with an inline T and it will attach to the intake manifold to get its vacuum. Well, so this car can go from the 8-cylinder to 4-cylinder. The reason having an extra pump is when the manifold vacuum is lower in here, so you keep extra strong brakes, you don't feel the difference in the brakes. They have a vacuum pump that kicks in. The vacuum pump used to be on the motor here on the Colorado. We've actually stuck it right back in that hole there under the overflow bottle next to the ECU. It's sitting right there. You can't quite see, it's in the shadows, but the hose comes across the back of the motor. We're using a factory fitting into the Silverado manifold. We have a check valve, and then we have a T over here. It's the factory T that we used. Then it goes over to the booster. Again, it's kind of dark. There's no check valve in the booster line. Then there is a check valve the other side of this. That way, this is always, if this vacuum drops, this check valve is obviously going to take care of the pressure from backfeeding, and it's going to go directly from the booster to the pump. Hopefully that explains it. You did send me a message on the forum and sent me a picture. Hopefully that explains it. Check valve here. No check valve in this line to the booster. It's a direct line. Check valve between that and the pump. Everything else kind of looks, I mean, now you see it in here, it kind of looks more at home than the Colorado motor. It's actually easier to look and see what's going on. It's pretty easy to get to everything. So we're now caught up with our work. We're back on the Colorado. A few things that we have to go over that's next on the list. Let me show you the list real quick and we'll talk about what it is we are doing. So check the trans fluid. We're going to do that by dropping the Y pipe so we can get to the bolt. It's like a Honda, you fill it up till it comes out of the bolt. We're going to change the plugs when we ran it. We had that rich condition on the passenger side. I'm not sure if it didn't damage the plugs, but just to be safe, I'm going to put a whole set of NGK in. You can't go wrong with these plugs, even if it's not bad. These will make it better. Transmission relearn we're going to do through the HP tuners. Several people on YouTube told us about the manifold bolts are known for breaking off in the head. Well, of course, now you've got me paranoid. Now I can't sleep. All I think about is manifold bolts, so we're going to change those. Thank you for the tip, by the way. Smoke the fog lights, if I can get that happen. I'm going to send those off to Superior because I wanted them doing, just never got around to it. And George just put windshield banner on there. So the lights are on right now, but we smoked these, and again, it's a very light smoke. You can't tell especially with those LED lights, when the lights are on, they're just, it looks completely translucent.
But having those nice, bright and clear makes those look way darker than they really are.
Yeah, especially when the light is off. It just doesn't have the look. So when I take those out and send them to Superior, this has the slightly meaner look. It goes with the grill. Of course, when the lights are off, right now the water turned off, so I could sit here and jibber jabber for a while.
Talking about it, let's stay on.
Yeah. So if I can get those off to Superior and get them knocked out in the next couple of days, we'll make that happen.
I wonder if this one has a dipstick.
Left here.
Probably not. We know how to do that part.
Just move it to the center of the truck.
In a silly spot.
Whenever we check the transmission fluid, you want to have the vehicle running. You can see it's idling here.
Alright, so after watching videos and looking, what they're saying is to get it up to temperature between 86 and 122, run it through each gear, basically hold the brake down, run it in each gear for 3 seconds, and then we're going to break this bolt loose, and whatever comes out, that is excess fluid. The only sucky thing is this is so close to our Y pipe. If we run our Y pipe, this runs in our Y pipe, and obviously ends up with an oil smell and oil burning, and it's difficult to get to this. So we're gonna have to take the Y pipe off and run it open header. So for you open header fans, you're gonna be in for a treat. And then of course, once it's ran, we'll have to clear the codes, but it's gotta be on level ground, just enough off the ground to run through the gears. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll see what kind of fluid we have in there. All right, so we're in park. It's about to get loud. Are you ready? It's gonna sound like a race car. There we go. Oh yeah. Wow, so we're gonna go to the transmission screen. We're at 78. 78. Going up. So we have to get this between 86 and 122. That's better. That's actually quite acceptable. All right, so 89, we're up to temperature. So let's go to reverse. We'll count to 4 seconds. Oh, thereabouts. Sure, it doesn't really matter that much. Go to neutral. It's not a gear, but let's do it anyway. So the fluid is actually not coming out the hole, so he is going to pump it in through the side. And this is like similar to how you do a manual transmission on a Honda or a Corvette. You have a drain and a fill, and the fill is usually where the, you put too much in, it comes out. It's different on the automatic transmission for this truck. The bolt in the bottom actually goes through like a tube, so anything that comes over that tube comes out, and you have to do it when the engine's running to make sure we got the right amount of fluid. We haven't driven the car too much. I mean, did a little burnout, but nothing too crazy. Once we get the fluid up to where it needs to be, then we can do the transmission relearn. Hopefully the transmission will shift perfect. It doesn't shift that bad, but of course it might not be 100%. We good to go?
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. Sounds good under here.
Yeah.
Especially with earbuds on.
That's even better.
That's the ideal muffler. How much did it take?
Half a quart.
Oh, okay, it's pretty good then.
Yeah.
So this is one of the GM bolts that's out the exhaust manifold, and honestly there's no rating on it, there's no number on it, so we don't know much about it, but of course somebody's put it in our head, or my head, that it's no good. So this is a Honda bolt, which we work with Honda bolts all the time. I think they're some of the best bolts that you can get. These, I believe, are a higher rating. It obviously has a number on it. It has a, almost looks like a 10, but past experience, we've used these for intake manifolds, exhaust manifolds, headers, turbo manifolds. We don't have an issue with these, so I think by replacing it with a Honda part, it's going to be a much improvement over this guy, which could be anything. It could be a fence post bolt, and this is a number 12 socket, so it's much better. Makes more sense to us already. All right, so I hope you guys are right about these manifold bolts, because they are a pain in the rear. A couple of them are real easy. Some you can get through the fender well. This one I'm doing through top with an extension and a swivel, and the back one is kind of partially blocked by a heat shield, so that one I get from the top. But I can imagine if these did break off in the head, what a pain they would be. So good old Honda bolts. If Honda made a V8 engine, I'd put that in. problem is, they don't. And they probably never will. Alright, so replaced them all with Honda bolts, so thank you for the guy that told us that these are known for breaking off in the head, because it's a pain to swap them in the car. So I can't imagine what it's like when they're broken off. As you see, this is the little triangle area that we're looking at. This is all sealed in with this fender liner, but now we're going to change the plugs just to make sure it's right. This was the side that ran extra rich. We did double check the cat, make sure the cat was nice and clean, and it is. There's no problems there, but we're going to put some fresh plugs in just so we know it's right. So you thought I was crazy with my oil changes by doing oil changes early. The motor has 32 miles on it when we bought it. I maybe drove it 3 miles, and we're putting plugs in. So that's that's a little OCD, but at least we know it's going to be right. You don't want to spend money to get something tuned to find out that the plug should have been changed. All right, it's the end of the day. We got as far as we could. We still got a million codes that keep coming up. I can't really show you all of these, but hopefully Jared is looking into this. But when all those codes come up, or they all come up as like a batch, the car goes into reduced power mode, then it's almost impossible to drive. But when the codes are not on, it actually drives pretty good. It's got a decent amount of pep. We couldn't do the transmission relearn. It just kept saying it was, it kept first saying temperature low, and we'd wait while the transmission got up to the temperature they were looking for, and then it would say operation aborted or something like that when you look at it on the logger. So, but I think the transmission is good. Transmission shifts. We're still waiting on the fuel pump issue. The fans I thought we had figured out, but we don't. Whenever I tell it to ramp the fan up to say 60% at 225 degrees, it doesn't go up to 60%. It stays at like 10% all the time. It doesn't overheat, but we're not taxing it either. We're not pushing it, but the fan should ramp up in percentage as the temperature climbs, and it has to be something in the settings, but that's not happening. So what am I telling you? Don't jump and do the 2020 swap yet. We haven't got it figured out. We haven't got all the answers, but we'll keep you informed as we go. There was someone on YouTube mentioned he thought he knew the problem with the fans. If you do, please reach out to me, because I'm pulling at straws right now. And unfortunately, it's the end of the day, but that's as far as we can go on this truck. It's gonna have to get pushed aside. We've got to get back to work on customer stuff. We can't stay full-time on here. This doesn't make us any money, and we can't push customer stuff out. We're busy. This is after-hour stuff. So that's the end of the footage for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the like, and keep on trucking.